A very good evening to all our viewers, and here is your host Vance from. Yeah, today I point at the right side because the last week I remember I pointed this side. So yes, Kopi with Vance. That's right, as usual. Before starting our show, there's the cup, and then I'm not going to show you inside what is it today, right? In fact, it's not coffee, it's water because of our weather. It's really crazy. The humidity is crazy, right? And we all should be drinking enough water. Okay, I've started the coach usual the practices of talking about health and fitness, but of course not, right? So today's topic, we are going to dive in a little bit, and that's where we are going to talk about your past is not your future. That's right. And I have my guest speaker, Naveen Lal. He's coming on board. He's going to share some valuable experiences, wealth of experiences, I gotta say. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff about stigmatization, attitude, lifestyle, and also what is it basically about he went through his entire life and how he has made major changes and who was behind him, who was in front of him. There's so many things we are going to talk about today. But today's season is a little different because we have started our new season. And I got to say that is because our first year anniversary has started last month. That is 1 year of Kopi with Vans. We started last year during the pandemic of COVID-19, and we are still there, but it should get better, right? We are now at phase 2. So it's a very exciting period for us where we're still going to touch base on a lot of health topics as well as fitness, lifestyle, and to make it more interesting. And we have more series of programs that's coming up on a weekly basis. And now there's an additional one more session being added on Kopi Events, which is Tuesday, because we have more experts and subject guests that's coming in to give us lots of talk. And of course, with all the viewers' support, we have reached a different level right now. So my greatest gratitude and thanks to everyone who joined us. So for those who are watching this, please do share this video because it's going to be an impactful, the first time ever that done in Kopi Events that we are going to share a live experience. And my guest speaker, Naveen, is very open about it, and he's going to share his experiences to our younger generations, especially to our youth, and of course to adults as well. You know, we all make mistakes along our life, but that doesn't define your future. And that's what exactly we're going to talk about. I got lots of messages that's coming in. And if you do want to ask Naveen on a certain questions, you can actually WhatsApp at this number and I will pull it up at our Facebook itself. Or if not, you can also type in your comment and we will then answer your questions as much as possible. So feel free to ask questions from Naveen, my guest speaker. So without any ado, let me pull Naveen up. Hello, Naveen.
Hi, bro.
How are you today, buddy?
Good, doing good, man.
Thank you so much for joining in Kopi with Vance on not really a late night, but a 10 p.m. show. How do you feel like?
It's good. I had a busy day today, a productive day, and now I'm back here, able to share my
story. Thank you so much. We had a great discussion over the past couple of days, and I get to know a lot of interesting things about yourself, about your life, and every journey is a learning process. That's what I always take it as. We always want to evolve. We always want to get better. And today, with our viewers on board with live, I think there's a number of people that's coming in, so which is great. We have a great content today to speak about, and also the challenges that what as our world or even our individual we have faced. So maybe we just start up with your introduction first before we even go into the topics.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Naveen. I'm actually 33 years old. I'm actually now working in the logistics industry. I do delivery. I'm actually, juggling between a few jobs, and I've got a sideline business that I've started up quite recently. It's been going good, so hope all you guys are doing well as well. It's great to be on live.
Okay, thanks. That's a very humble introduction you did, but I know there's more to it. People who are juggling with just one job, especially 8 to 5, already feeling a bit more challenged. But how are you managing 3 jobs? I mean, whenever we had our conversation in the past 3 days, I noticed we've been talking at late hours, and you are always on the go. You're either doing something or we are always communicating. So I know your lifestyles, but I want you to share that with our viewers. How do you manage 3 jobs with your own businesses and kind of stuff?
To be very honest, if you have a lot of overheads flying above your head, right, you will automatically wake up early in the morning to go. But the thing is, what you need to have is the constant motivation to actually work towards your goals. So I had lost touch of what my goals were the past couple of years, and right now I think I have it all back in track, and um, I finally come to the realization that without hard work, it's difficult to achieve your goals. So that's what's keeping me up. Sometimes 15, 16 hours a day, just working and just hustling. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Naveen. So I think we shall move into the first gear of our topic. I always like to start up with the first gear so that at least we all get warmed up and viewers are all just coming in. As we talk, I got a lot of messages that's coming in. We
Okay.
have a very good friend of yours, I guess, Javier too. Good to see
Hey,
you,
bro.
bro. Naveen Lal. Thank you, Javier. And okay, so to get things started up and a little heated up, I know Naveen. I think we spoke about this. No one is an angel or saint. Along every one of us do make mistakes along somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But during your younger days, I know you're comfortable sharing this, but if you don't, please let me know, and I will deviate the question to another question. All right. So during your younger days, it's been challenged. It's been challenged. It's been lots of obstacles. You went through a lot of things that one youth shouldn't went through. But if you look back right now, so Naveen, as now you are 33. Am I right to say you are 33, right?
Turning 33, yeah, I say.
33,
Still
okay.
a long
I
time.
want to say one
I
age, 1 year
think
older.
for
Okay.
myself in 32, so yeah.
So we got more people coming in. Hi, people. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Please do share this video so that more will understand about the life experience that we are sharing today. So the topic, I mean, is if you look back from 33, from where you are to back then, what are the some life challenges that you went through that make your path deviated from a lot of other youth?
I understand. Okay. Um, Basically, my childhood, to be very honest, wasn't a very healthy childhood. Both my parents were quite dependent on alcohol, and they used to drink together, and dinners and functions uh, in my place used to end up in fights that were so bad. Um, at that time, me and my sister, we were very young, and the amount of violence that we had to see that happened in the house, the number of times the police came and took my dad away, just hearing the sounds in the kitchen of things breaking, the altar being torn apart, parents reaching for knives, and um, sometimes even blood all over the place. So all these things have actually deeply affected me in a sense where I had actually built up a lot of hatred towards just basically towards the society. And there were just many times where the fights just got too violent that we got so scared. We were traumatized, basically. We had to hide in the room. We were worried whether they would come inside and beat us. So um, thank God I had godparents who stayed just 2 blocks away from us. So there were many a times I remember I had to carry my younger sister and run out from the house, sneak out from the house. I was in primary school, my sister was in kindergarten, and it was just a very traumatic childhood. So that would be one of the main reasons I feel that I grew up with a lot of frustrations, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred, because I was not able to express it as a child. Yeah.
Of course, it's never been easy to be in that shoe because as a young age, as a kid, as a youth, there should be a lot of happiness running around
Yeah.
without any responsibility and going through life as if like every day is like a candy and a chocolate. But unfortunately, you went through hard challenges, but you should be proud of what you are right now. That's we are going to come up in gear 4, gear 5. But if you put yourself in that situation, do you think that family situation actually molds the youth to a better path? Do you agree to that?
Yes, definitely. I think the upbringing of a child actually um, either makes or breaks the child's future. So, like what you said, is actually a mold. The parents are actually a mold of how the child is going to turn up. So, how they are with each other, how they behave towards each other, is how the child is going to learn how to treat his better half or his friends or his other relatives. Because they're setting an example. So the parents are always setting an example. So the example that I don't say that we didn't have good times in our childhood, but the bad memories actually outweigh the good memories quite a bit. But if you ask me to think back in a split second, go back to your childhood and think, it's just a lot of bad memories that comes back to me. Yeah.
Did the bad memories still haunts you once in a while?
Oh yeah. Yes, they do. In fact, quite often. It's just that I have developed within myself to be able to fight back. But then there's always that chance where you might lose that battle also. So the thing is, it's not a one-time thing. It's a constant challenge that you got to keep fighting within yourself. Yeah.
Naveen, there's always a thing called second chance, and I do believe in second chances. I mean, like I said, every one of us during youth will have done something along the way, but going through such a traumatic, yeah, unpleasant situation. Of course, you went through it and you fight it through. Of course, you're at a different level right now, but during that period of time. Of course, the path has deviated because of not much of care, concern, love, wasn't there much. So it happened to be getting elsewhere. The attention, the importance was shown elsewhere rather than the family itself. So probably is that's one of the reasons why you went deeper into it during the young age where you can't make decisions or people to guide you back like a kite. I need to pull you back, but that was like a free kite that was traveling all around. Do you think that the wind changed in that direction part in the path of
I
yours?
if we were to move a bit forward to my teenage, because my mom was actually an officer in the army, so she was very regimental. So my parents actually had a very sour divorce. Like, they brought us to court, and my mom would ask me to say bad things about my dad so that she can win the custody. So the battle over custody for the kids was actually very traumatizing for us. And then if we move forward a little bit to my teens, when my dad left the house, I kind of, to be very honest, I think I took advantage of the situation because I thought there was no one else there to control. And me being in that age, I started leaning towards where I got the attention that I really needed. And my friends were there. I would never say anything wrong about my friends. Until today, we are still in contact with each other, but they were there for me, but then what that might lead certain then you may be put in certain situations that might get you into trouble, which which happened to me lah. So yeah.
Okay. So now the the conversation is going to go a little bit more deeper because right now I'm sure there's a lot of parents are watching, a lot of youth will be watching. Definitely my kids are watching right now as we speak this because I want them to feel the part that Naveen Lal had taken and you are sharing it because not many people who want to share about their experiences, especially not so pleasant experiences because people always want to portray the good stuff about everything, right? It's always like an angel, it's like spread a wing like an angel behind, but we do different kind of mask. So I have to give it to you, Naveen, the kind of guts, the kind of resilience that you have in mental resilience to share this. And I know you are coming quite a popular figure right now because you are giving speeches and talks, which I'm sure. And that is why if today is not an interview session, today
Yeah.
you are the guest speaker for Kopi with Ben. So your advisors plays a very important part for the youth that's watching because that advisors will then able to give them the ideas and that could be the danger. I should avoid that. But
Yeah.
because you don't read that in the school books, and teachers are strict, discipline masters are there. You kids are going through huge humongous of stress. I gotta say that, but
Yeah.
sometimes along the way they can deviate, and
Yeah.
that's probably the issue. So at that young age, pleasant, unpleasant situations at home, dependent on friends. Of course, there's some good, some not so good. then it lead you into more deeper into that, and then finally you thought, okay, I got all the power for myself, and you started to do things, and then the troubles. I mean, there's a saying: "Don't trouble the trouble. If not, the trouble will start troubling you." But at
Yeah.
that age, you wasn't aware of this
Yeah.
situation, and the trouble. You challenge the trouble, and
Yeah.
they said, "Let's face that." I don't give a S
Yeah.
or whatever that you want to call it. What happened? I mean, then.
Once I started not being able to share, to express myself at home, I started expressing myself outside. And it always all leads back to the childhood, the trauma that we went through. Like, we started growing up having very low self-esteem because of the fights and all that. We used to see other parents sending their kids to school. We used to see other parents um, being happy. We used to see other parents, taking care of the kids differently. And it was just a bit different for us because we couldn't go out for a proper dinner as a family without the fear that it might turn into a fight, because anytime something can spark. So sooner or later, as we started getting control, we started getting a little bit of control over ourselves. We Myself, I started deviating from the family. I started looking out for my friends, and I picked up this drinking habits that my parents had. And at that point of time, I thought, it's cool to smoke, to drink. I mean, I still smoke until today, to be frank. But the drinking got kind of out of control. I started getting too dependent on the alcohol already, to a point where I actually lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of people who I used to be very close with, and they sometimes do not want to contact me because of this alcohol problem that I used to have. Yeah.
And then, of course, okay, that's another part that we are going in deeper right now. Alcohol takes control. You tend to have that feel of high, and you found that no one's there to control me. And I mean, of course, this is all related to the processes that went through. And then smoking comes in, and so forth. But then at that point of time, that's where I think I would not call it a mistake, but at the point where, because of the decisions, because there was no guide, like with a compass, and you tend to do something that is getting more deeper into trouble. And then there is a time that the first visit away from your families, away from your friends, and under the
Yeah.
four walls with isolations and protocols, and it's a different lifestyle. It can be mental torturous at certain times.
Yeah.
How was the experience for the first time that you actually visited for a long period of time?
Listen, okay. The first experience, because you don't know what to expect, so everything comes as a shock to you. One moment you are living a life full of freedom. You can choose what you want to eat. You can choose where you want to go. You can choose what you want to do for the night. You can choose your movie.
I
But
mean, I
then,
need you to speak a little louder. The voice
ah,
is muffled. Thank you.
sure. How about now? Is it okay?
Very good.
Okay. And then after, suddenly, just in a split second, all those things are taken away, and you are basically stripped of all your rights as a human being. You got to listen to orders. You got to play within the lines of the law, and you mess up, you get yourself in trouble, and then you got to always watch your back when you're in prison. You don't get to choose. I mean, the basic stuff. I mean, they have totally no privacy. You share the cell with other people and all those things. So it was, the first time was a little bit traumatizing, but I would say it was more of a shock, because as teenagers outside, we hear about these prison stories. We've heard about it, but to actually go there and experience it for yourself, it's a totally different experience. Yeah.
How was the period where you was surrounded by four walls? Is there something came to your mind that you thought of? Okay, I realize it. I'm going to make some major impacts in my life, and I want to be the best of the best ever been. Is there something that was running in your mind? Because it can be quite torturous. People who are doing quarantine right now, 14 days,
Yeah.
21 days, they tend to tell us like staying in a room with all the facilities, they go crazy. But if you are in a you're in a prison, then it's going to be very, very tough situation, and you have went through it. And what was running in your mind?
To be very honest, the first time didn't teach me a lesson. The first time actually got me more angry. The first time actually got me more, and I thought to myself, now I have this black mark to my record, and I told myself that that's it, life is done. I'm now considered a prisoner, and the society is never going to accept me back. So I got more angry instead of trying to change, because for you to be for all your freedom to be taken away, for you to have to live under the rules of someone else, for you, like the simple thing, like I said, for you not to even be able to choose what you want to eat for the day. It can work in both ways. I can tell you honestly, prison can either make you or it can break you also. So it did break me the first. I mean, I've been to prison 5 times already. So um, when I came out, there was still no proper guidance. There was still no. I didn't have a path that I had for me to walk on. You get what I mean? And it was very blurry. My whole future was very blurry, and I didn't know what was going to happen next after I come out from prison. And the first time after I came out from prison, I felt that it was a little bit difficult for me to get back to society also. Yeah, because to have your
Um,
freedom taken away, and then they put you somewhere where there's no freedom at all, and then the next moment you're thrown back out into society with all the freedom. So choices that you make from there is actually very important. Yeah.
Naveen, see, like you mentioned, right? There's a lot of things that should be going through your mind. The rights, the lifestyle of yours. Doing things, wearing your favorite clothes. I mean, everything has changed overnight, and then because of things that not very pleasant, and of course you went through quite a challenging period of time in your life, which is, of course, we're going to talk about the challenges part. That the question has already been lined up.
Okay.
But while you are in rehabilitation, right, in rehabilitation, learning and improving, especially our, I mean, of course, we do not want to go there again. We all do not
Yeah.
want to go there. But I know in Singapore itself, our prison rehabilitation, they do their very best. There's motivational talks, there's causes, there's studies. They make you improve. They talk about all about rehabilitation. I mean, of course, we have to disagree to some. Some will disagree. Some will agree. I mean, that is all about discussion. But in your aspect, when during these 5 times you went in, will you call it not a learning lesson? Of course, we don't want to go there, but during the period when you are there, do you take back something that you are practicing in your life that you're so successful that you want to share?
I think the biggest takeaway for me during the times that I spent in prison was to actually value the time that you have outside. I mean, we are living in a country where the law is really strict, and um, there are many instances where you can end up where I was also. So my major takeaway from prison will actually be to actually value your time, make the best you have of your time, um, and your freedom, to actually use it properly, to actually use your freedom properly. Yeah, that would be the
And
biggest aspect if you ask me.
and any during that period, do you learn something in terms of causes, in terms of talks, or anything that you think that it has changed to as and making an impact, and especially at night, before something that you learn? I know there's a lot of causes, a lot of things are happening in that time. They're always thinking of rehabilitation. I mean, that's all about Singapore. um, what is your take on that? I mean, how do you impact that in your life?
I think for me personally, on a personal basis, I didn't take to prison very nicely. Like, I didn't take it as a time for me to rehab. I actually took it as a time for me to sit down and blame a lot of people as to why my life actually turned out like that, why I'm here within the four walls, having to share a cell with other people, with other inmates and all that. So for me, I don't think prison was actually a very, I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't say that it was a good lesson for me or to help me to rehab or what. I think it made me more angry as a person. So after that, coming back out, not being able to get a job, not being able to have focus, because I used to be in the real estate industry. I used to be a property agent, and I was making good money. And come out back and not be able to do that actually landed me into prison again, again and again and again. So if you ask me what did I do in prison, I always thought that I should not have ended up there in the first place. Yeah. So it was always a very frustrating experience for me when I ended up there. Yeah.
All right, David. So from there, I mean, of course, something has happened, some magical experience we're going to talk about that has impacted your life. And of course, who you are right now with so much of discipline and at the same time, still fun times and all that. But going back to the area where we, from the prison we came out, all right, there's something magical that happened along the way that we discussed, and we will love our viewers to share that experience. I mean, if your other half want to join at this point of time, I
Yeah.
know she's shy, she can definitely join in. You're going to pull her in, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, she
Doesn't have
is.
a choice.
So this is your magical experience that we talked about. So what kind of magical experience that she did?
Okay, so basically, me and her, our story is a little bit. We used to work together. I used to work in a restaurant where she's a chef, and I used to be the service staff. And it was just something about her that I kind of really liked.
Bro, I need you to speak a little bit louder. Sorry, I'm losing you.
Yeah, just something about her that I really liked, and
Okay.
she was very supportive. She's one of the few people who never looked at me as a prisoner, as a gangster. She didn't have the defense wall up, and
Sorry, Naveen.
how
Can you check your speaker? So it's a bit muffled right now. Probably you need to come a bit closer. Is that all right? Can
is
you
it
check the
okay now?
speaker?
Is
Yeah,
it
that's
okay now?
good. Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is that okay?
Maybe you want to increase the volume on your speaker so that it can our viewers can hear that as well.
How about now? Is that okay?
Earlier ones was better. If you can just adjust that a little.
Let me see. Give me a moment.
All right. So thank you, viewers. We are watching right now. We are going to the magical experience of Naveen's life, which we want to share about. You can see the other half is already blushing. It was not a call for, so probably we never prepare any questions for her. So it's going to be a surprise for her. So Naveen, yeah. So we can carry on with that. So then you're working in
So
the, I
yeah,
mean,
I
the
mean,
restaurant.
a lot of people when they first see me, they always have that impression that I'm that a rugged type of person, the gangster, the not so friendly, not approachable. But for her, she just never had the defense wall up, and she was very encouraging throughout. Even before we got together, also she was actually very encouraging. And the last time I was in prison, she was always writing to me. She was, sending me a lot of encouraging words. And she taught me how to pray. I think the most important aspect was she taught me how to pray. That is something that actually changed my mindset a lot. Instead of going out and looking for a shoulder to cry on, I've started this practice of actually looking to God to lay my whatever burdens I have on my shoulders to lay it on God's feet. So I would say she's a very good blessing for me. Yeah.
So it's
It came
proven,
to a
huh?
point.
The man's
Yeah.
success depends on the woman. Okay, in your case, it's also proven. So it looks like she's giving two thumbs up. So it is proven, huh? Okay. So maybe your other half maybe want to do some introduction, your name, and then we can start. You don't want to say your name? She's shy. So what kind of magical experiences or moments that you pass the knowledge to Naveen? She's stunned really.
I
I
don't
told you, I
know.
told the viewers it's not a plan for. So, okay, the question is simple. What kind of magical moments that you pass it to him that he has changed? You are like the Pied Piper, no? You are blowing and then he's listening to you, which is a good stuff, which is definitely a good stuff. So, what is that? The movements or the words?
I don't think he could say that he
You got to
did.
speak a little louder, my dear.
I don't think he could say that he did all this because of me. Like I think it's his effort lah. Because previously, before we were together, also was all how to say is his doing. Now it's also still his doing. It's his effort that he's putting in to change. Then when we first got together, then he got a job, and then I was always just trying to be there to like motivate him so that he doesn't fall back to being very. He's actually a very negative person. He used to be a very negative person. He wouldn't want to go to work.
What person? Sorry, I never hear that.
Negative.
Negative.
Negative. Okay.
Yeah,
So he's
he
now
wouldn't
full
want
of
to go to work.
positive.
Yeah. So but compared then and now, he's very different already. Now he wakes up before me. I used to wake up before him. He wakes up before me and he puts in a lot of effort.
Okay.
That's why he
So it's
says he
good
just
stuff.
yeah, and he's really trying.
She never wants to take any credit. Yeah.
I won't take
Okay.
credit.
So it's really pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. I know she's blushing. You can still stay with us. If you want to move away slowly, you also can do that. See, she's doing that. Bye.
She's just to be going.
Okay, so Naveen, so she's a magical moment that came into your life. It's a blessing. That's
Yeah.
always the same. A man's success is always depend on a woman, and a woman's success depends on a man. Yeah, we can say that also. All right,
She would
because
take
we have a lot of viewers are right now. um, Naveen, is very interesting. All right, there was a huge changes there in you right now.
Yeah.
But as of now, I know there's some changes happened, and we're going to talk about that. But what will your advice be for the youth that's watching right now? I mean, we live in a very toxic world all the time. Even though we are wearing a mask, somehow or other, some viruses can come along. I mean, of course, right? But I'm referring to more of our lifestyle. Sometimes schools, the youth can just deviate somewhere where the same situation go through. What parents should be always be focusing on their child? Sometimes I know it's not easy as what we speak, but what is your take on that, and what your advice to the youth?
I think firstly for parents, because as a parent myself, I think it's very important for parents to make sure that the home that the kids live in is a very welcoming place, and it's a place where they can actually come back home to and share and express whatever they want to feel. Because if not, they're going to want to share it outside, and we don't know how the other people outside are going to advise them. So I think parents should also, in this current situation, even for my kids also, you got to actually watch your kid and see where their strengths are, because not all children are academically inclined. Some children are street smart. If you ask me to sit down in a classroom and to study, it's very difficult for me. But if you put me out on the streets, ask me to mingle with people, ask me to do business, I'm able to do that. I'm able to mix with people. So you want to cultivate your child to work towards his or her strengths, and not to actually push them towards something which they are not inclined to. So by giving them a lot of pressure, sit down and study, sit down and study. Some children, they just don't want to do that. Some children, you got to push them. Some of them are good in sports. Some of them are, they can do business. I think some of the biggest billionaires in the world are also school dropouts. I think if we did a little bit of research. So if you think that your child is not academically inclined, I don't think parents should be negative towards them, or or not encourage them or discourage them and pull them towards what they want the child to be, because that's not going to work out well now. Whereas for the youths, I think if whoever is watching has not gotten into trouble already, my biggest advice would never put yourself in a situation where your safety depends on other people. They may be your friends. If you guys are out clubbing, you're already putting yourself in that situation, because anytime anything can happen. It may not be you, it may be one of your friends, and if you think situation at home is not good, I mean, nowadays I think a lot of parents are also a bit open-minded. I've seen a lot of my friends who are bringing up their kids in a very open-minded way. Express to them first. Express to them. I'm sure there's a lot of help that you can go and seek if you're feeling a lot of pressure at home. Just keep yourself in check, because if not, then like me, you will need to work 15, 16 hours a day, 3 jobs, balance between 3 jobs just to make ends meet. You don't want that to, you don't want to end up in a future where there is no future. So yeah.
What will your, I mean, again, on the same line, I mean, you said it well. I mean, danger can come in any form, especially
Yeah.
when someone is, whether you're clubbing or
Yeah.
even for the matter of doing certain, grouping together. Of course, we're not going to go details on that, but of course, mixing up with the wrong company plays a very important part, because that actually determines their future in the next
Yeah.
couple of years or even 10 or 15 years. How do you, or based on your experiences, how to avoid this? You need to make, you need friends,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you don't want to mix with the wrong company and being dragged down.
Yeah.
So, what will your take be then?
You see, ultimately, it's your individual perception, because based on my looks, somebody's parents may think that I'm bad company for their child, but then if they don't know me well enough, they don't know how friendly I can be, they don't know how I can value add to their child, then it's just a judgment. So ultimately, it's every individual's perception. I mean, you may have a friend who's tattooed from his head to his toe, but if he can value add to your life, then you want to be with him. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, just don't put yourself in a situation where your safety will depend on someone else or a group of other people. And if you happen to be out with a group of friends like that, and something were to happen, you should have the discipline or the courage to actually walk away from it, to understand that it's not worth it to get into trouble. Yeah.
It was very well said, for the youth who are watching this. Naveen has his experiences, so he's putting in a very nice way of, don't get into trouble, don't fight for trouble. If you know there's trouble coming in, do not try to be the superhero or trying to take everything on you. That anticipation, that point of time can lead to a lot of stuff, and we all know what it can lead to over the cases in the past couple of years that we talk about, and some of them are serious cases, and that leads to a total changeover in their life. The next topic that, of course, we are still in the same, your past is not your future, but your biggest challenge in your life. We're going to address this, and then we will go into the current things that you are doing and more. So that will be the last question for that, the challenges part.
Okay. Biggest challenge, I got married at a very young age. So I was not ready to be a father at that point of time. So I was already a father when I was 20 years old. I think to lead my young adulthood and to balance between being a father, I found that a very big challenge for me. And I will not consider myself as a successful father just as yet. I'm working towards that. That's one of my ultimate goals also. Another challenge would be, I was in the real estate line. I was leading a good life. I was earning money easily. And then when I actually lost the real estate license, I had to go and, like what Charlene said earlier, I was very negative. The reason why I was very negative was because I just couldn't accept the fact that I had to go and work under someone else, because real estate industry is like basically running your own business. You manage your own time. You don't have to report to work. So that crossover from being a self-employed person to an employed person was something I didn't want to take, and I didn't want to accept as a person. And that was a very big challenge for me to overcome. So I started making money illegally. I started, doing things to make a quick buck, just to support my habits and all that. And just basically, I thought, that's it, my life is ruined. So the other big challenge was to actually do that crossover, to actually accept the fact that there are times in your life where you have to come down a little bit and start all over again. So yeah.
So that was your biggest challenge, and I have to apologize to the viewers, because there's a lot of messages that came in, but I didn't post that questions to Naveen. But Naveen, a lot of them are saying well done. We have
Thank you.
Vinu here. Thank you, Vinu, for your questions. I think it's a very interesting thing that he wants, particularly you, to share. What or who was your turning point? We know it's your other half,
Yeah.
to make you reflect and decide to take a path towards empowering yourself for betterment. So we know that your other half made the changes for you, but our loved one can make changes for us, right? But there
Yeah.
must be something in you that created that spark, which you are aflame right now, running your own businesses and working additionally to, you have bigger plans. Of course, we wish you all the best for that. But what was the spark? She was your magical moment, giving you the support and saying that you go ahead, I'll be just behind you, baby. I mean, right? But what was that turning point in you? And that's what we know are asking.
Okay. Uh, it just came to a point where I got so sick of not having money, to have to go out and borrow money, and then lose friendships, and then lose relationships, that were very valuable to me once upon a time also. I would say the real spark is when I look at my kids. I see them growing up. I see how fast they're growing, and I realize that my responsibility as a father hasn't stopped. And ultimately, the real spark, if you ask me, would be my kids, and of course, Charlene being there, encouraging me and telling me that, she ever once told me, you don't have to earn what you used to earn last time. You can always, start off small. We can always lead a simple future. And she was a person to show me that we did go through a lot of struggles together. We had blessings. We had friends who gave us a place to stay, and we were blessed with all those things. But we did go through so much of struggles together, and she never left my side. So it's actually the urge, the want to actually prove her family, prove my kids that I'm actually not the person that I was in the past couple of years. I'm actually much, much better than that. So that would be the magical spark. Like, you just need that one person, to come in and show you that you are actually worth a lot more. Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen. And of course, Vino also said all the best to you both. Enjoy and live the moment. Keep up the faith. Nice. We
Yeah.
also have another viewer also asked, your current life results to a large extent result of your past action, choices, and experience. So she's also totally agreeing that whatever that, there's always a stigma, right? Let's talk about this tattoo thingy right now. I mean, I'm a big fan of art. Okay.
Yeah.
Great, of course, right? But
Yeah.
also in the process of doing more. But the public view, all right. If we do an experiment, and one is like wearing a short sleeve, looking nice, decent, carrying a handbag. I mean, sorry, not a handbag, like a suitcase. But you
Yeah.
are walking by, and if you see someone who is kidnapping a child, which of course obviously doesn't happen in Singapore, I'm not sure whether the other person will do it. Probably you will do it. But if you are running towards it, will there be a thinking that, oh, he's the one who's trying to kidnap the child? Will they have this stigmatization,
I think
stigma,
no matter I think no
adjusting
matter
or passing remarks?
I think no matter how much society tries to beautify the fact that tattoo is nowadays art and all that, I think when it comes to first impressions, like I say, people even until today, when they look at me, they always wonder whether I'm an approachable person or not. It's just after they break the ice. But then if I was shown to them without all these tattoos, they will probably immediately think that I'm a very approachable person, because I'm smiling a lot of the time. So um, the stigma will always be there. If you ask me, that stigma will always be there. So choosing your tattoos, I think even for the youth also, um, if you want to go out and get a tattoo, you should always remember that even though the society says that tattoo is only art nowadays, there's still a small percentage of people um, who you should ask yourself, if you are a boss of a company, would you hire yourself if you are fully tattooed? So I think that will answer a lot of questions already. Unless
That
you're
was a
the
very
part.
honest answer.
Yeah.
But do you have any regrets of course, I mean, sure, nobody should have regrets, but do you have any thought of these tattoos are unnecessary?
For me, for my character, unnecessary. I feel these are all scars of my past. If you ask me, I would call these scars of my past as well. Whatever scars I carry inside, at that point of time, I like to show it outside also. So I'm a person who, if you want to stigmatize me, if you think that I'm a bad person based on my tattoos, then I do not want to be friends with you also, because I would put you in the category that you're a very judgmental person. So why would I want to be friends with you? So whether I regret my tattoos, Some of them, yeah, I wish I got nicer tattoos. I wish I would have saved up more money and got the nicer tattoos lah. But other than that, no, I don't really regret my tattoos yet.
Thank you, Naveen, for that. We'll come back with the tattoo topic in a while. But we also have a viewer saying that congratulations to you and your wife, Naveen, for
Yeah,
standing
thank you so
strong and through the
much.
challenge. I think.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jayashree, as well, for giving us the comment, and more viewers are coming to it. Uh, we have a very humor kind of question. Nallavana, kettavana, good guy
That's
or
my
bad guy? That's a
that's
society.
my
She's
that's my
putting into the society.
that's my
Do you
cousin.
want to say something, because she's been a very supportive viewer right now. Hi,
Yeah.
Moganeshwari, thank you so much. Naveen, any words for her?
நல்லவனுக்கு நல்லவன் கெட்டவனுக்கும் நான் நல்லவன்.
Okay, so that was the thing for that. Thank you. So I mean, of course, now you have the tattoo, and you are moving ahead with life. The past was there. You went through the four walls. Um, you know, I, 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 I I'm always very careful with my words, especially because I always try not to judge. Even calling, if you hope you don't mind, I'm just going to say convicts, or prisoners. I find it that everybody make mistakes along the way, but I'd rather say as a yellow ribbon project. I think it's more respectful. We do see so many changes. I totally agree with you. There's so many people that make things happen in a tremendous way after visiting the four walls and going through a hard time, because that make them realize that the past is not your future, and you have proven it, Naveen, at this point of time. You mentioned that you are working three jobs. One is your own company, planning to bring it to another export, transportation and logistic as well. That's very proud of you. But we have another one more question, that two more questions, then we will ask Q&A if anybody. I think we have already going through all that. I also have a very, very interesting comment about you, Vinu. Sorry, Naveen, by Vinu. You are not alone, bro. Studies around the world says dark-skinned people will be same as threat, and tattoo males will fall under the same category. I respect your honest sharing. Thank you so much for that comment, and I really thank you for that. It's really going to be a booster for Naveen to bring it even to greater heights, and he's becoming the a speaker himself. When I talked to Naveen a couple of days back, I said I'm not going to interview you. You are the speaker. I'm just going to host it, and you are making an impact. I'm very sure there'll be a lot of other talking platforms that you'll be talking, Naveen, because the way you project yourself with your other love. I mean, your other better half who give
Only
you a
one.
lot of yeah, only one. And
Get me in trouble.
okay, I'm not creating some confusions here. But with that, I think you are going to go over mountains, you're going to conquer a lot, that for sure.
Thank you.
Before I come back to the personal question, and this is one part that a lot of adaptation. I think this is very important as well. A lot of rehabilitation happens during the four walls, and that's one of our part where our Singapore prison forces tried very hard. They're always trying to make changes happen because they do not want you to revisit. No, we don't want any revisit. We want people to rehabilitate, change, go, move, go up in life. So, what do you think the former offenders have a hard time fitting back to the society? Which obviously, yes, because of staying away from so much of things that happening around the world with the news, with the agendas kind of stuff. What consequences can have this on the individual or on society? Because you have experienced it. So what will that be?
I think, you see, before you step into prison, there may be a lot of doors open for you. But the moment the country that we are in now. The moment you're in prison and you come out, a lot of those doors actually close down on you. They actually close on you. So your options get a bit limited, you know. It's hard for you to get into the corporate world if you've been in prison before. It's hard for you to get into a lot of places for work and all those things. So I think that will be a very major impact on offenders. And like I said earlier, to have all your freedom taken away, within the four walls, and then to be thrown out back into society with all that freedom, sometimes if you spend too long within those four walls, you tend to become a little antisocial yourself also. you get so used to being within those four walls, talking to that few couple of people that are around you, that you start to lose your social skills, how you make friends outside. You will always have that thing in your heart saying, oh, does this person actually look at me like I'm a convict? Do you think that person will like me? Do you think this person will trust me if I were to say? I've met a lot of people in prison who I can tell you are so much more nicer than a lot of people I've met outside. So for you to overcome that, for you to trust in yourself, I think it's very important. Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen, for that. As we speak, there's lots of supports coming in, with lots of love coming in. It's so much of sharing, and I have a constant flow of messages coming in. Well, probably you'll be already going to speak in another few more motivational. I'm very sure with your open determination, skills that you have, hidden skills, I would say that definitely you're going to be a motivational speaker one of these days. Trust me on that. And I can feel the energy, and I can feel the genuine. I can able to synchronize with you, so I can really feel that you're going to make an impact as well. So do not give up on that. That's another area of focus that you should be focusing on to become another successful motivational speaker. That's exactly is going to happen. Okay, we have done that part, but if I were going to ask you, of course, we don't want to bring you back to the past. What is the most emotional part of yours that, yeah, I'm sure there's a little scar, but I'm sure you are moving ahead with your other half, the loved one who gave you the magical experience and support as a pillar. But if you could just turn back time and change things, would you?
I think what I have become today is because of my past. I think the person I am today, how strong I could be, is because of what I have gone through in my past. So if you ask me if I would go back and change things, um, I mean, if I could, and if I go back, then there's no guarantee I would turn out. I would probably not value life as much as I do today. So if you ask me honestly, if I could turn back time and change things now with my faith in God, I think I've been put on that path where I'm supposed to walk. So I would, what I don't want to do, I don't want to go back and into my past and change things. I want to make sure that my future is changed. So yeah.
So you don't want to get there at all, even though if a fairy came in front of you and say,
There's
"Okay,
one thing I would do, because during the times where I was, heavily drinking and all that, we got into a fight and I lost a cousin brother in a fight. He got stabbed and died. If I could turn back time and bring him back, I would. Yeah.
and then that's your most emotional period of your life."
Yeah, that was very traumatic for me now, because we were very close, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience to actually lose someone you grew up with, and for him to die right in front of you is not easy. Yeah, so if I could turn back time, I would bring him back. But other than that, whatever I've experienced, I think I was meant to experience. So I probably wouldn't change anything. I probably take whatever I've been through as a blessing, uh, so that I can move ahead with my future with a different perspective in life. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen, for that. We spent a great 55 minutes of experiences that I think that's going to be very valuable for whoever is watching it. And please, viewers who are watching it, please do share. These young men just in front of us, Naveen Lal, I think is going to make a huge impact in our community, in our society. I can feel it, and I can feel the energy, the synchronization. I'm sure everyone does that with his honest reply. And I think it's a very life experiences, especially for youth who are watching this, because youth are our next leaders, and it's very vulnerable. They're very vulnerable, and we got to guide them in all angles at any possibilities of the time. Sometimes we tend to blame the parents. Parents are so strict, but parents also I would not call it kiasu, but it's a kind of responsibility. Everything they want to be the first, everything they push the child, and child is going through under tremendous stress. I mean, that's a different topic itself because it's going into a different angle because of all the numbers we are looking at, statistics, right? My child is doing better than your child is doing better than his child. So it's always starting to compare. I mean, that's parents. I mean, that's individual preferences. We can't disagree to that because it's how they want to do it. But as a child, I think he should be happy, he should be studying, he should be carefree, he should enjoy the processes. But that could actually change someone's life in the next 20 or 25 years. And I think that was a very good part where you actually start sharing. Um, Okay, we have also you seem to be very popular. Naveen, so you got a lot of great comments. I mean, after that, you can actually view it at Kopi Events or our Facebook because there's a lot of comments. Keep up the spirits, Naveen. Rock on and continue to be yourself. Goodness will attract goodness. Success is sure. There you go. You see, so you
Thank
get a
you.
lot of good support at this point of time. I mean, we have covered all the Q&A. We have covered pretty much everything. I know you have a long day. I know you're focusing on your businesses right now. And two other jobs that you're working. So you're working around the clock. And I did came to know from my understanding where we supposed to have a talk session and that didn't happen because you were working and then come back home and then you got to sleep for 2-3 hours and then go back for your logistics. I feel that it's very very interesting that how you are going through and value every second and to provide the best for your family, for your loved one, your pillars, whoever's around you treasure. I think that's fantastic. We have constant flow of messages coming in. Thank you so much to all the viewers. I'm taking just clicking and clicking all these comments that's coming up. It's one of best ever response that we ever had in our talk show in Kopi Events. I got to agree that. Naveen, before we call it a day for today's talk session, is your past, it's not your future. Is there something that you want the viewers to know, or who is Naveen Lal, or is there something that you want to say? It's your time.
Um, I think the most important thing will be to not judge anyone based on their outlook or based on their past, because we don't know what they've been through, why they have been, how they've been in the past, but base the person on how hard he's trying to change his future. And I think that kind of encouragement, that kind of spirit will actually um, help build someone's future, help them work towards their dreams, work towards their goals. And for the younger generation, I think set goals, work towards it, lose a bit of sleep, it's fine, but never give up. And if you've ever faced any misfortunes, just don't hold on to those grudges, let them go, work on yourself. The best investment you can make is on yourself. So it's very important. Yeah.
That was a very straightforward and straight answer. If someone is watching this and going through the same struggle as what you have been, but it's just that they have not found the pillar yet, maybe the spark yet, what is your advice to them? Who went
It's
through
not
the same
easy.
situation of yours?
It's not easy. I know, but the most important thing that you can do, the best thing you can do for yourself, is never to give up. Is to always have confidence. Walk. Don't be too proud. Don't be too humble. Also, just have confidence in yourself. Don't base your future on anyone. Just base it on yourself. And like I said, even for the youth, even for people like me, set a goal, work towards it, keep your mind focused on it, and you will definitely be able to achieve it. So, yeah.
Thank you, Naveen, for spending almost 1 hour 45 seconds with us. And I think it's a most of the valuable experiences. We have overflowing of messages that keep on coming in, and all are just supporting you. I think that's the whole idea about it, right? I mean, we should never look at our past. I mean, we can, but we shouldn't dwell on it. We got to snap, we got to focus, we got to press on. And that's what exactly you're doing it right now. And I can see where this is going on. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the next 1 or 2 years with your own entrepreneurship and your businesses, your families. I think that's exactly what we want. Sometimes we cannot depend too much on society because society will keep on talking. You do something,
Yeah.
they talk. don't do something, they also talk. Every time they're talking. So it's best that you just press on. So thank you so much, Naveen. I will be sending you this a small souvenir, what we call the coaster cup from Kopi with Vans to you very soon. I will
Thank
stay
you.
connected. We have more messages coming in. Thank you, viewers. And Naveen, we will get connected again on a
Sure.
separate note. Thank you so
Sure.
much. I wish you all the best and success to you,
Thank you
brother.
so much. God bless, buddy.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Naveen. Thank you. Bye bye. All right, viewers, thank you so much again. And it's always been my pleasure doing Kopi with events with different topics. And today's topic is something that we all should learn from Naveen, that our past is never our future. We should never judge our past as a future. I mean, sometimes we tend to dwell on a lot of little things that we think that has drawn back to us or sank us to the bottom of the sea, but it's not. Every mistakes or every challenges or every obstacles, we should learn from that, and then we have to have such a strong mental resilience to move on. And when with Naveen's today's talk session, I think it's going to be such a valuable experiences because he went through exactly what he is saying, and it's truly a great sharing sessions today. Coming up next on the Kopi with Vans topic will be tomorrow at 10 p.m. That's going to be on a health segment. We have more talks that's coming in lined up over the next, in fact, 2 months. We've already been fully booked. With a lot of speakers are coming in. Nothing major, nothing minor, but just the truth, awareness creating in social media. That's the whole idea that we have at Kopi Events. And for me, it's like a booster for me. It's just like getting into it, and now from once a week, now we're going into 2 times a week, and it's my pleasure. I'm learning, and I'm sure you are learning as well. You are enjoying. If you do have any questions, or if you do want to get connected with me, please do WhatsApp us at 818-77850. That's purely for WhatsApp. You can send in your comments or feedbacks. If you think that, hey, Vance, you shouldn't be talking about this, please send it there, because there's never a right, there's never a wrong. Everything we say at Kopi Vance, we try to be very careful, non-judgmental. We just want to have a great experience and sharing sessions in Kopi with Vance. So please take note of this number if you do have any suggestions or feedbacks, or if you want to share something that at Kopi Events you think that's going to impact, please send a WhatsApp here, and I'll try to get it, see if it's possible to bring you on board as well. So thank you so much once again for joining me at Kopi with Vans. I enjoy my coffee, but nowadays it seems like it's water. So please hydrate yourself, as the weather is crazy. You can see it's hot, cold, hot. That's where a lot of people are falling sick, and it's not a good time to fall sick at this point of time. Of course, you know why, COVID-19. So all the best, and I'll catch you tomorrow exactly at 10 p.m. for another session of Kopi Events on gut health. All right, we're going to talk about digestions. We're going to talk a little bit more on things about how you should look at your gut feels. A lot of stuff we're going to discuss. All right, signing off. This is Vance at Kopi with Vance. Catch up.